Hi there, it's me, Celia. I'm going to do a reading on the Libra season energies, both generally as a whole for everybody and also for each of the signs. And ideally, you would look at your rising sign. With the way that I'm going to do this intuitive card reading, I do think that your rising sign would be the most accurate. But if you don't know your rising sign, definitely look at your sun sign. If you want to look at both, you can do that too. So I'm going to be using the Cowgirl and Aliens Oracle deck, Herbcrafters Tarot, and this cute little Lenormand, which is cute and little. So let's get into it. Okay, so this is for everybody this month. This is the general themes, feelings, lessons, vibe about Libra season this year. So we have the prospector. I find joy in the process. And the reality about the gold rush is that people didn't really make it rich finding gold. Some people did, but more so it was the wealth from the gold rush came from the people who were selling gear for the gold rush. People that sold the pans and the jeans and the diggers and the lodging and all that stuff. So are you going to strike it rich? Probably not. The feeling of the prospector is more about finding the value in everyday glimmers of little things here or there that give you that just spark joy, that make you feel connected. It's about slowing down. Just think about, have you ever panned for gold in a pretend situation? I've been to those museums and whatever places where they simulate it. It is very, very sensory, a very sensory experience. So it really is methodical and mechanical of your hands, slowing down, sifting through the mud and the dirt and the silt and using your eyesight to see, and you hear the water flow. And this card to me for Libra season is really slowing down, and through that process we find those little golden nuggets, those little glimmers that make us feel good and connected. We have the mushroom reversed, I should say the tower reversed, mushrooms. So this shows me that there has been a time of change that has happened recently, and we are now adjusting to that. When an ancient tree is fallen, new light shines into the forest. Where that tree was taking in all the light, now there's little bits of light that can touch a lot of different areas of your life that the tree was absorbing. Now that light is kind of shining in other areas of your life. When something is ended, obviously another beginning can happen. But with this energy, the tower reversed, it makes me think that there are many different areas of your life that you want to take a look at and that will be illuminated through a change that has recently happened. So new areas are fed, new areas can grow. Mushrooms convert no longer useful material into viable resources. They bioremediate things. So let the other areas of your life guide you through adjusting to a recent change. I'm also getting a feeling about nourishing your gut and letting you extract more of your food through digestion. And obviously what really comes to mind is beneficial microbes and prebiotics and chewing your food well. Overall, mushrooms or tower reverse is strength, resilience, and nourishing your vitality to help adapt to change and cope with what is kind of in the next area of your life. Okay, and here we have the house. This is obviously your house. It is the place where you feel safe. It's your family home, comfort, where you feel most in your element. this could be literally like nesting, working on decor, home improvements. This could be moving into your house in new ways, making a cozy corner, doing things that you really like, listening to music. It could be issues with your housemates, your family. Going back, it could be things related to your childhood, the parents or siblings that you had. So this is going to be different for everybody, but when I look at these 3 cards together, of course, take what works for you. Not every general meaning is going to be perfect for every single person. But to me, could be literally in your house or in your solid, whatever is like the foundation to who you are, where you feel comfy. The general feeling for this Libra season is to find little bits of comfort and little bits of glimmer. I really see light coming in, like filtering through curtains, and having that light kind of be received by yourself. So sometimes this is something that I worked on a few years ago, and this is on a spiritual, emotional level. And it was that, like, I can be surrounded by nutrients, and I'm talking about spiritual nutrients. I'm not literally talking about food. I mean, it could be, but in this situation, it's more like I can be surrounded by resources, but I'm not often uptaking those resources into like my energetic body or into my spiritual body. And this is showing me, like, let the light come into you fully, like fully receive what is being in your, like what is being shown on you. Like, absorb the goodness that is around you, the help, the guidance, whatever it is. Allow it to come into yourselves. And when we're in situations where our needs weren't met, it's kind of like we downregulate our ability to accept nurturing because we knew in the past it wasn't there. So it's like the part of you that accepts things became very small and kind of, it just had to survive. So it's just like, rather than feeling empty, we're just going to downregulate our needs so that we don't feel so empty. So we're just going to our ability to receive is like half as much. And now this is saying, like, okay, make sure you're receiving into those smaller, that small ability to receive help and assistance and support and guidance, whatever, comfort, but also work on expanding that capacity. And how you're going to do that is through looking at the glimmers, making yourself more comfortable, and just basking in that light. I don't know what it is with this mushrooms. I don't know what mushrooms do with light, but I'm feeling light very strongly coming in. Maybe that's like something to do with solar energy. I mean, we're coming up on the equinox, so maybe it has something to do with that. But let it feed you and nurture you. Let those glimmers feed you and nurture you. Okay, so that was the general reading for this season. So in that last reading, the general one, I had to go open my windows. I needed more light. I was like, holy moly, I want light. Just makes us feel warmer. Okay, so now we're going to do Aries rising. We have the highwayman. I am determined and will keep trying. We have the Fool, dandelion, and we have the garden. Okay, so the highwayman is somebody who stands in the road and asks for a fee for people to travel on it. And every person that comes by, they do the same routine, they have the same shtick, and those people pay the fee and they're able to pass. And so this is about being more than having luck, more than having even skills. It's about your perseverance. It's about standing up and being, I'm here, this is what I stand for, this is what I am asking for, this is like a checkpoint. You are always being where you need to be. And I'm feeling like this is important for relationships. It's like being consistent, but then in return, you ask for what is mutually beneficial. So, it's like It's kind of a take charge card. It's creating your own destiny in a way and being determined. So this is like a card to embrace your ambitious mindset and to stop hesitating and to be like, hey, this is what I asked for, this is what I need, and then you will get something in return. But the whole point is that you're standing in your energy and you are feeling worthy. And that's not even like a question of your worth. It's more like you just know it's just right. It's just fair for you to ask for something and get something in return. And I'm feeling like this is for social situations because of this garden. So the garden in Lenormand is a very social card. It is the third place. This is in real life situations and people. It's face-to-face interactions. It's rubbing elbows or shoulders. It's seeing people and being seen, being out and about. You know, like it's the party of the year sort of thing. But it can be in a smaller version for that. Basically, social life is important for you. It's a part of humanity, and we're not meant to be lonely. And there's something here with the dandelion in the middle, the Fool, starting a new, perhaps with your social life, with people around you, maybe joining a new event. With this dandelion, it's like we have so many different directions that we could go off in. There's so many little arrows that point to, like, maybe I should try this, maybe I could try that. And it's about being a little audacious. You know, it's having the beginner mind. And here we have this monarch. It's about to go off on migration, or maybe it's coming back. So I see like going somewhere, interacting socially. This is very much in real life. And then this card too is like having some stronger, I don't even want to say boundaries. It's not about a boundary. It's just about like having a mutually beneficial interaction with other people. So if that's not happening for you, this is a really good time to start fresh and maybe find some new place to go. You might have to try out many different ones because it's next to this dandelion. So don't give up if the first social gathering you try to get organized doesn't go well. Like, give it 3 times is what I'm hearing in my mind. But in any case, it's okay to ask for new social situations. It's okay to have people in your life that are on your team that understand the give and take of relationships and friendships. This is the reading for Taurus and Taurus rising. So we have here the Navigator, the 6 of Wands reversed nasturtium, and the Book. So with these cards, the Navigator is, you know, sometimes you can be a little anxious about wondering, like, what can you control? What can't you control? And essentially, you're gonna have to step up and be courageous and steer your own ship and shape your own life and path. You know, the only change, or the only constant, is change, and that can be very destabilizing. But here's the thing, like, yes, you can't control everything. You're gonna have to let some things go. You're gonna have to ask for help. At the same time, this is a card about saying, please do step up and take the helm, though. And you can navigate through these rough situations. The 6 of Fire reversed, nasturtium. So I'm seeing a time when I'm really feeling like the sensitivity to being wounded, embarrassed, being rejected, being made to feel less than. Maybe you had a bully, maybe you put yourself out there and it didn't work, maybe you got drunk and said the wrong thing, maybe you're thinking about things when you're like in your early 20s and you just were learning about life, and you know, like, everybody makes mistakes, and don't be so rough on yourself. First of all, I know it can be hard when you were made to be embarrassed or ashamed, because it like really affects your self-worth, and that makes it hard to fulfill your life's purpose, you know, or like what you're working on. It can hold you back. And, you know, it's not right for that to happen. And it's not even that I'm saying you need to forgive. It's more like, I know it's hard to let those things go, but there is a point where you do need to courageously step back in and say, that wasn't cool, but I'm not going to let that stop me. Like, you just cannot stay small forever. You're going to have to navigate forward. And I know that sucks. I'm a Taurus rising, so I specifically know exactly what this is talking about for me. But the book here is what is making me think it was an issue that really hurt the self-esteem, because I feel this stored in the body. It's like maybe you had a bully and they have been, since that experience happened, you've been staying really small. And it's like hurting your soul to just like live in that place where you've been beaten down. And that sucks. It really, really sucks. But the book here is telling me that you can rewrite the story. No, not everything is forgiven or forgotten. That is impossible. It's more just like with this navigator, I'm going to courageously move forward anyways. And the way that I see this happening, the moving forward, is kind of like, I mean, you play around with whatever works for you, but what's coming through right now is like, imagine that you're reparenting yourself, or even better than that, just what would you say to a child who did what you did? They got up on stage, they weren't well prepared, they forgot their lines, they fell in their talent show performance, everybody laughed at them. You would probably be like, don't let that get you down. You know, you had the guts to try to fail, and everybody makes a mistake, and don't let that define you. And I know it's okay, like you feel embarrassed, but like, it's okay. You're not going to judge other people when they act like that, when something like that happens, when they have a fall from grace. So don't do it to yourself either. So that's for Taurus rising. So here we have Gemini rising and Gemini. We have the Henchman, which I think is such a Gemini card because it's like two people, twinning energy. We have Chrysote Bush, which is the Mother of Earth, and we have the Ship. The Henchman, we have two people here, and they are collaborating to achieve more together. It's like a well-oiled machine working together, having mutual trust. This could be things going on with like literally the people that you call your gang, or like your ride and dies, people that are always with you. But I think overall this is more about asking for help and just accepting the fact that sometimes things need to be done in a team situation. It can be really hard to be in a team. There's so many things that have to be balanced, especially if you're introverted. But the truth is you're going to be more accountable if you work with another person. It's easy to procrastinate when it's just you, but when there's somebody else around, it kind of encourages you to do your best, because it's easier to let yourself down than it is to let somebody else down. Even if they're not putting a lot of pressure on you, there's something about being seen and held by other people that can be of assistance right now. If you are working on a team or like in a work situation, I would say that is going to be a big theme for this month. So the Mother of Earth, I see this as like the mother of wild places. And this is like connecting to the land, connecting to plants, connecting to animals, being really kind of tapped and tuned on to the earth around you. This is like the management of shared give and take within medicine. And this is medicine within the bigger sense of offering something that is supportive to the earth, not just like physical medicine, you know? With this, it's like I see somebody making an offering and they're singing and they're full of gratitude, and it's like I can provide for myself. I can contribute to my community. I see this as a time of good health. There's lots of daily rituals, daily acts of self-care and nourishment for yourself and others that feed back on you, that feed back on the people around you, and that, you know, actually give and take. It also feeds back on like the spirits of the land, and I just feel this being very, very connected to the earth and anything that means to you. I mean, that earthly sort of thing could also be like a place within yourself, of any area of yourself, but because it's an earth card, I'm thinking like of the physical body. It could be a landscape in your mind though, I'm seeing. So I feel like this is just, you have a lot to offer. You have a lot to share. You have had a lot of experiences, and your sphere is opening up to more than just yourself and people you know. This is literally like you're opening up to the spirit world, or like energetics, or like rocks, or there's something out there. Like maybe you'll get messages from animals. Maybe you'll just feel held by them. And whatever the reason is, it's very inspiring to you. You're starting to feel like you're connected to a lot of things. And I really like that form of connection here for you. So the ship is kind of like a mundane type of card for this Gemini rising or Gemini here. After these two ones that I don't know, they seem more like interactive, but you know, Lenormand can be really mundane. So that could be traveling, movement, distance, going somewhere new, taking a journey, going on an adventure. Basically, it's like covering the distance between one place and another. It's a little bit slower than other journeys. It could be a relocation. Maybe you're leaving the roost. Maybe other people are leaving the roost. Maybe you're moving somewhere that you feel really connected and you'll have a better sense of community. Maybe you'll just take a trip there. This is not necessarily about moving. It's just going somewhere. Now, you could have a metaphorical journey. Maybe you learn to do the, you know, like journeying or something with a group of people and connecting to helping spirits of the land. Like that could also be a very good possibility. But in any case, we have a collaboration. We have being connected to something bigger and deeper than yourself, nourishing, offering things up, and some sort of movement. So Gemini rising, if this happens for you, I would love to hear what this is, because I'm seeing multiple I'm seeing lots of people on this ship, and they're all having different journeys. So, yeah, whatever that is, I think it's going to be a fun and connected one. Okay, so for Cancer rising and Cancer sun, we got some kind of Cancer-ish type cards here, the Moon and the High Priestess reversed, and then we have the Smuggler. So the Smuggler is like a shrewd business person. They're always on the lookout for an opportunity. This is about like taking the first steps, no matter how small. But then again, it's also about like regularly showing up. It's like saying yes to things. Like, is this on my path? Sure. Anything that feels like a first step, no matter how small, this is a sign to take it. And it's like the hunt for new possibilities. It's like, you know, the Smuggler is already on her journey though. She is showing up to do her job, and whatever those jobs are, she'll take them. She's self-made, for sure. Doing things on the side. This could be like non-traditional type work, or like side jobs, or like little ways that you help people around the house. This is, you know, I'm not advocating for this, but it could be like under the table jobs where you support people, or I don't know what it is, but there might be just different types of opportunities for you, like internships or something. Although if that's the case, make sure you're being paid fairly. So you've been investing in your growth, and you've been putting yourself out there, and you're still in that process of getting to where you want to be through just always being on the lookout and saying yes to things. So this High Priestess reversed, to me is like a trial by fire. There's a moving non-linearly through time or through your healing or through some sort of thing that you have to go through. It's like you might feel kind of jolted around. It's like you're on a 3D roller coaster. For that reason, it's good to practice clearing and protection of yourself. It's good to be extra prepared. And this isn't out of fear. It's just to like free up your sense of worry. It's like assurance to be like, okay, I've taken care of things. I'm kind of on top of things because you never know. I might need to run off and take this call, or I don't know why that came to my mind, but there's something that there's like a certain level of being prepared, whatever that means for you. Like if there's something that you've been really wanting to do, to prepare or to protect or to like invest or like create some sort of insurance, I would do that. But in general though, I also think this is about having some irregularity in your life where you haven't really wanted to be irregular. It's like you've wanted to practice things, but you haven't been able to, and you're craving to be more dedicated, but it's been hard. And of course, you know that if you want to make it real, it's like up to you. You have to show up and you have to like be practiced and be regular, be dedicated. And that has been really hard so far. So for something about this smuggler is like, you're going to start to say yes to some things that are going to help you feel more dedicated, whatever that is. If there's something you want to practice, I think that is going to support you there. And then with the moon, the first thing, there's many things that go with the moon and Lenormand. And the first thing that stood out to me was creativity. Maybe that's something that you want to be more dedicated to. But other things could be like, it's about your hidden life, your internal self. It's about being sensitive and emotional. It's the waxing and waning, the many sides to different things, but particularly like yourself and your emotional pulls. It's emotions that are deeper than what you can think of. It's kind of the felt sense and maybe even beyond that. The moon is also like a secret wish that you want. It's not like the star where you're going to be out in the open and being flashy. It's more like the need to be validated, to be appreciated. It's not like you want, a round of applause and like awards. You just want to be seen for who you are and what you've done. It's like a humble witnessing. Now, I think that you should do that to yourself is what I've just seen or heard, is like appreciate your own self. There's something here about like fulfillment, the need to be fulfilled. So let's put these cards together here. Practicing things, being dedicated, reigniting your dedication to something. I'm feeling like creativity, wanting to be seen, validating your own inner wishes, your own inner desires, your own feelings, sitting with your feelings. And then the smuggler is saying yes to things that help you on your way, saying yes to opportunities, taking steps even if they're small. I feel like the smuggler energy is going to help you navigate the feelings within your own self, to like figure out where you need to be validated. And that kind of sounds petty. I need to be validated. It's just hidden within me. No, there really is some like secret kind of desires or wants that like you're kind of conditioned not to want. And then this High Priestess too, being non-linear and being on this 3D roller coaster, it's not first you do this, then you do that, and then you do this, and then you uncover the secrets of your hidden desires within your body and your subconscious. It's not like that. It's going to be kind of in the dream realm. I would maybe work with the moons. There is a new moon that is in Aries, and it's an eclipse. So maybe around that time you can help work with that energy to unlock what is kind of held within you that needs to be seen and witnessed, and honored. And I feel like this has been going back to childhood. It's something that for a long time ago, you were like, I was not seen, I was not heard, but you really want to be, because it's going to help you on your way, or it's part of your soul's path, or it's part of your joy or something. So that's quite a journey for you, Cancer rising or Cancer. But, I think you can work with it because it seems all kind of Cancer-y type energy anyways. So this is for Leo rising and Leo sun. We have the Mountain Woman, 5 of Waters reversed, Golden Seal, and the Letter. The Mountain Woman is somebody that can rely on herself. So I see this as trusting yourself. It is hard to face challenges on your own, but you can. You got this. It's easy to doubt yourself, but in the end, you've never really let yourself down. It might be others that have let you down, or like stories that you've learned along the way. But to me, this really is about trusting and relying on yourself. Things can be hard. It's hard to embrace solitude. It's hard to keep up with the grind. And I feel like daily living activities like getting food and taking care of yourself and eating, and somehow like those basic sort of things for survival, I think have been compromised. I feel like those things have been hard, but in the end, just know that you can trust yourself. Even though they feel hard or things have been challenging, you can, have challenges and trust and rely on yourself at the same time. You can feel extremely doubtful and also at the same time have these complex feelings of like, I also have this, like I got this, even though it doesn't feel like I do. I know in the end I'm going to be okay. It's also about like not needing outside validation, and you definitely don't need permission. But then we have this 5 of Waters reversed. So there's been a time of like loss or grief or strife, and I think that you are in the process of moving on from that damage that has been done. I think now there's a time where you can take a breath and let out some of the stress you've been holding on to. You can step out of survival mode, at least just for a moment, and enjoy some peace and calm. If you're still in a stressful time, I feel like this is the eye of the storm, eye of the hurricane. If you're still in it, like maybe you're still over your head, but I think conditions are less critical. Like things are stabilizing. Maybe they're not totally over, but at the very, very least, I feel like there is a sense of hope, and you're starting to feel the big picture. And then with the Letter, this is like feeling acknowledged, and you put something out there like written communication, and something comes back to you. So there's kind of a reciprocal nature there. On a mundane level, it could be anything. It could be like an email, a message, a document coming in the mail. It's generally something like directed for you. It's not like a piece of junk mail. It's like there's some sort of intention behind it. It's addressed to you, or you're addressing something to somebody else. Generally, I think this is something coming in. Could be a contract that you sign, an acceptance letter. Maybe it's a refusal, like, hey, you didn't get into something that you wanted. But whatever it is, it's like you were anticipating a response and you're going to get it. Could be a letter from the past that you look at. Check DMs, or like check just today I found out that like all these important emails were going to like junk, and I don't know why, because I was corresponding with that person, so they never should have gone to junk. But then I missed this deadline. So that's an example of like, check your correspondences, because there might be something important there. So putting these together, we have trusting and relying on yourself, Things are getting better. Oh, and then maybe you'll just get some sort of validation that things are getting better. You get some good news, perhaps. You know what? I'm just getting that there is an important message in some sort of correspondence that you've had that will kind of tie together some things that you've been trying to move on from, or some ways that you're trying to rely on yourself a little bit more. Like maybe there's a check you haven't cashed. Maybe there's just something is going to maybe work out or like help on your way. So don't be afraid to send out correspondences to help you kind of get out from underwater or help you feel more self-reliant too. So somehow it's like you really got to put some energy out there and it will be returned to you. If you've already put it out there, I think the help or assistance or just information will be arriving soon. So here's Virgo rising we have, or sun sign. We have the gunslinger, 10 of fire, comfrey, and the ring. So with the gunslinger, this is like practicing, and not just any practice. It's like practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect, which is very meta, but I feel like that is the type of message that needs to come through. It's not necessarily about working really hard and hustling. That's part of it. It's more like when you do show up to do whatever work it is that you're trying to do to get on top of your game. It's about doing that very deliberately. And it's not necessarily about the hours you put in, it's about the consistency. Now, if you've been slacking and you really have been wanting to step up an area of your life or your skills or your work or whatever it is that you're practicing or applying yourself to, if you want to step those up, now is like the time to do that. This card is kind of a kick in the butt to get working, and it's a little bit of tough love about applying yourself. Like, do you want this? You want to be on top of your game? You have to practice, put in the time, and that's going to take some boundaries in your life to prioritize yourself, to prioritize your craft, to prioritize you know, and what it is that you want. It can be really, really easy to be overwhelmed when you step into the, like, I must be deliberate and practice and hustle. But it is about slow productivity. There's literally a book about that by Cal Newport. I highly suggest it. But it takes that anxiety and overwhelm from like, I'm working on something every day and like it's not done and I keep going. It really, really is helpful to think about being productive slowly. Productivity does not have to be breakneck, super fast, speed, constant output, you know. Like things that are worthwhile for you to work on can be slow. It doesn't take away from their validity. And in fact, I even think it's a little bit more real when you do that. Not always, but you know, if you want to like write a book or something, it takes a long time. You're not just going to hustle that out. So this is about dedication in that regard, in the improvement of something you want to do, something you want to practice, some sort of skill. The 10 of fire, comfrey. This card to me is like you have a lot on your plate. This is a super busy kitchen. So many things to do. There's all these comfrey harvests coming in, and if you don't work on it soon, you're gonna, you know, the medicine's gonna be lost. Your things are not gonna be, your recipes, you can't get them out in time. There's like a back stock here, like a log of things you have to like deal with and organize and label and just everything. There's a lot of stuff on your plate. I feel like for Virgo rising, Virgo, you're feeling there's like a deadline or some pressure to keep you moving. And I can't deny that is the case. But with the gunslinger there, I think the message is to have help, first of all, to, if you can step out of the overwhelm, just do like little tasks at a time, you know? Think of the long term, think slow productivity, because I feel like this is small, middle-sized tasks that just keep piling up. So Yeah, there's a lot on your plate, I'm not gonna lie. But the ring here is commitment. It's like, can you make something more official? Can you make a contract, make a pledge to yourself, a vow, something? Or maybe that you need to be in a partnership. There's some sort of deal or merger. It's basically, imagine that you like sign your name, the law is involved, you shake hands, something like that, where you're working with somebody to achieve a common goal, and it's somehow really official. Like that could be something to help you on your way with all the stuff on your plate. Maybe that's why you are so busy. But I'm also seeing another level of like taking a vow to yourself. One time when I was really overwhelmed with my house, I kind of did like the Marie Kondo type stuff and just took a moment to dedicate myself to my house and like my family and my life, and just be like, I am here. This is what I'm doing. I vow to do the best that I can. It sounds ridiculous and it doesn't have to be that serious, but basically it's like I'm getting my energy in line with like, there is nothing, I don't want any interruptions that are unnecessary. Sometimes interruptions happen and that's fine. But there's any interruptions that are stopping me from being on top of managing my life, I want them gone. And being in energetic alignment with myself is a way to make that happen. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, getting in alignment to allow things to kind of fall into place. And this isn't some sort of cerebral, wishful thinking manifestation sort of thing. It really is just being like, if you have a lot of stuff on your plate and you're resentful about it, it's going to be really, really hard to handle. If there's something you need to practice and you're feeling really overwhelmed about it, like that sucks. I hate that feeling. Just, it's kind of like stick to the mission. That's part of slow productivity, by the way. And some other books that Cal Newport has written, which I've read almost all of them. It's like following your passion is such a bad idea. There's research about that, and it's a garbage idea. It just came out of nowhere. It's a bad advice. What you need to do instead is follow your mission. Because like your passion can come and go based on how you feel. And who even knows what a passion is? And like, what if you're passionate for something that isn't helpful for you? But a mission, it's like you're dedicated to the mission. It kind of reminds me of Lord of the Rings. Like have that level of dedication, and somehow that will help you through some trying times. I know it's not going to solve everything, but if you're like, I'm dedicated to making this happen, therefore I'm going to swallow my pride and ask this person to help me. Like even something just basic as that. You need something a little bit bigger than yourself, something transpersonal, something related to your higher self, because everyday ordinary life is too much right now. So you have to go a little bit higher, and then making the commitment and the vow and dedicating yourself, having that fellowship of the ring, and having your little crew of hobbits or whatever, like that is going to help you. You're going to succeed way more. And in fact, I think that's why this is happening. Why you have so much on your plate. It's like, you're not meant to do this alone, or whatever it is. You need extra support. Libra rising and Libra sun. Here is your reading for your Libra season. So we have the Starship Captain, and we have the Devil reverse, Blackberry, and we have the Star. So we have two starry references here. That kind of makes me think, like, take a look at your star chart if you're into astrology, see what's going on, see where the Libra things are happening in your own chart, because this is about your soul's purpose in this lifetime, I think. Whatever is going on now. Like what's happened during the last solar eclipse, and what's going to happen during the next new moon. Take a look at that. Yeah. But I also see, okay, so the Starship Captain, We have somebody who's in a leadership role and they're very decisive. So I think of, in Chinese medicine, the gallbladder has an energy surrounding it, which is called general gallbladder. And this person is green and the gallbladder is green. So this makes me think of that. This is very decisive energy, and it comes from no ego. It's just like, this is my job. I'm going to figure out what to do. I'm going to accept advice if I need to. I'm going to get help from the crew. I have the skills I need. I can guide people and I can be guided. And you can't be an expert in everything. You need to ask for help to get the job done. And in fact, that's kind of like your job, is to delegate and to like lean into people. But ultimately, you are in a leadership role. You can help people reach their full potential, and other people can help you reach your full potential. And together, you're all going to flourish more. And if you don't have people in your life that you're working with, I would say this is the metaphor of like being the captain of your own ship. And where do you want to guide yourself? And it would be like the areas in your life that you're working on or whatever it is. Although I do see this as an opportunity to mentor or be mentored. And the learning goes both ways there. It would be best if you're surrounded by a crew. That's going to look different for everybody. But yeah, that's the starship captain. Captain, oh captain. The devil reverse blackberry. So we have some feeling trapped. I see there's something in your life that you don't feel as free as you'd like to be. Yeah, you feel stuck. Like there's no way to get out of a situation. Now, some of that is beyond your control. But there are some instances when I see the devil, it's kind of like, well, lean into what you know is keeping you back. So what are your indulgences? Where have you been letting yourself off the hook? Basically, it's like your indulgences are a little bit over the edge. You need to have some stronger boundaries with that blackberry energy. You need to like create a hedge. And I'm just hearing for 3 days. So this would be my boundaries I need to do myself, is like no scrolling on my phone before bed. And I just do that for 3 days. And then after that, I get out of the habit and really bring in I don't know if you're familiar with blackberry hedges, but they are wicked. They're like the thorniest, wickedest things here in the Pacific Northwest. They will scratch your cornea, they will ruin your life, they will take over your garden, and they're protectors of the forest, so they have a purpose, but, they can get a little out of hand. So come face to face with, I'm seeing kind of two things. One is like feeling trapped by your circumstances that you honestly cannot get out of. And then there's also feeling you can't control certain areas of your habits or your life. And it seems like you should be able to control them, but you can't. And I totally understand that. I'm just calling it like it is. Like, if it were so easy to not do whatever it is that you know that you shouldn't do, like you would have quit it by now and it wouldn't be a problem for you and like millions of other people probably. So knowing what keeps you bound can set you free, and just experiment with a short period of time of putting some sort of boundary around it. So the star here is a very hopeful card. So yeah, you might be in a rough spot with feeling trapped in your life, having physical circumstances, I'm hearing, kind of hold you down. And that's true, but the star is a hopeful card. And combining that with the decisiveness and the foresight and the leadership capabilities of the starship captain, I think you can navigate some ways to kind of free yourself. And I don't see you totally getting out of your situation. Like, imagine if you live in like a really crappy house. Like, you're not, by the end of Libra season, going to be free from that. It's almost like you start to have some hope that things could be different, and you're going to be leading down the right path. With the star, you know, it's about wishing on a star. Like, go ahead and wish for something different. Wishing is like, it's a fantasy, you know. It's infantile, childish, but it's also innocent and pure. And it's like, wishes can get the ball rolling of thinking like, I want things to be different. I wish that I had a nicer experience. And yeah, it's wishful thinking, but I think it's going to put you in the right direction, because sometimes those wishes can be an expression of what your soul really wants. And it can help align you, because the star is like the North Star. It can help orient you to like what it is that is going to serve you better. Here we have Scorpio rising and Scorpio sun. The Preacher. So when I first met this card, I didn't really understand it, but now I totally do, and I love it. And I'd say these three cards together are so beautiful. The tones and the, I don't know what, I think they're really nice. So I love that for you, Scorpio rising and sun. The Preacher is like unconditioned. This is like the best. This is religion and spirituality and organized religion. It's at its best. So many people have religious trauma. It's hard to even consider that there's anything good about that. But, you know, they're on another planet. So just imagine it's like a slightly different parallel universe. Okay, and the whole point of this is to be unconditionally there for people, to spread hope, to spread love and peace, and to have a place of acceptance. Ideally at you know, some sort of temple or something, anybody that's public, this person is preaching outside, anybody can come. It doesn't matter what you look like, it doesn't matter what you've done, and it doesn't matter who you are. So this is a time of being inclusive, having safe spaces, letting go of judgments. There could be a sense of charity or generosity, something that you give. You know, that could be literally like charity or something, or making a donation, but it could be like sharing your smile, sharing your benefit, giving somebody the benefit of the doubt. It could be forgiveness, it could be a hug, could be empathy, listening. This to me is about the release of punishment. So one time my kid did something super naughty, and I was like, if you do this, then we can't do that thing tomorrow. And he did it, and I was just like, now I have to withhold that thing because I said so. But it reminded me, this card was like, sometimes you have to release punishment. You know, there's a time and place for consequences, and in life you can't avoid all consequences. But when it comes to other people, this really is about giving them the benefit of the doubt. And honestly, like punishment or consequences or whatever, it's not going to work when this card comes up. Like it's not really about a human form of justice. It's getting out of the us and them mentality. It's about less what divides us and more what brings us together. And, you know, it could also be about you accepting help and support and love and empathy from other people. And that's going to be useful because this 2 or 3 of air, echinacea here, is about a loss. It's like an attachment wound, isolation, something being cut away. This is the wound, the damage, the hurt, the pain, the suffering. So something was cut out, could be long ago, but it's coming up right now. It could be recent. Like it literally could be the loss of a loved one. That definitely can happen with this. It could be a heartbreak, but it also could be on a smaller level or like in the past where something didn't work out. You know, I think this too with about being excluded. And those type of wounds can go really, really far back. So it's a rawness here, okay? And then the cross, generally in Lenormand is about a burden, trauma, pain, loss, suffering, you know, your cross to bear, the emotional baggage, you know, could be about being martyred, sacrifice, pain, and it's a lifetime of pain, damage, scars, wounds, things like that. So this all sounds kind of heavy, these two cards put together, like pain, suffering, and again, like being isolated, excluded, and having a raw wounding. So those two things together with the preacher, like, I did not want this to be religious. I'm really, honestly, these are universal themes, okay, that Christianity took and it utilized, trying to be, trying to step into the positive sort of things of that. But I think this is a time where you're going to be there for yourself. Now, if you could reach out to another person, that's fine, but I see the preacher energy as you. I see that as you are tending to your own wounds, to your own hurt, to your own isolation. I see like a radical acceptance of like, this is the pain that I've had, and feeling it. You know, don't do it too much if that's super traumatizing for you. You know, like, do what's safe within your body. But I do feel like there is the permission to feel, because with the echinacea, there is great healing. After things have been lost and wounded and cut, there are processes in the body that naturally help you recover from that. I do feel like there's no reason that that healing can't happen. I feel like you're just in the healing process, and that sucks. I don't feel like the healing is going to be interrupted in any reason, because of the cross is like, I'm sorry, these came from the 1800s in France. So there's going to be some religious things in here, and that's just the way it is. But it's like there is a resurrection, okay? Like, you can rise up. I do feel like you should lean on some spirit teams, because, of course, when I say that, I'm not even Catholic. I wasn't even Catholic. But I see like a Mother Mary energy. So that could be, yeah, anything that is supportive of you. But if you work with like angels or saints or any sort of god or goddesses that are helpful for you, anything that you can do to surround yourself with healing is very useful. Basically, feel the pain and the wounding, because you can't not feel it. You're living it every day. But acknowledge it and accept some love and healing on a spiritual level in. And I do think that you are ripe to receive it, and that you will be on your way with your healing journey. You are on the way. So these are the cards for Sag rising and Sag sun. We have the Pilot, the Mother of Fire, and the Coffin. With the Pilot, I feel like this is a time to get going. If you're not feeling inspired, if you don't think it's the right time, if you don't feel prepared, this really is the card to just start doing it anyways. Now, you don't have to be like all in, especially if your energy is not very strong, or you don't have like the time or structure in your day to like jump in to do something full on. This is more about being like dipping your toe into just, you know, doing just a little bit of things that help you feel more creative. I'm feeling like if you start investing in your creativity, or whatever it is you're inspired by, that spark will grow. And it's okay if your productivity ebbs and flows, if you don't feel like doing much at all, if you're having a hard time like getting out of bed, like whatever it is, just acknowledge even the little things that you can do and that you do. A couple years ago, when I started to be more invested in my planner for memory keeping and journaling and things, because I was completely disabled and I didn't have anything to do, but having the planner, like, I didn't have anything to plan. I was cosplaying somebody that had things to do and could do things. But more so, I was like, today I took out the trash. today I washed my hair. And those little things at the end of the week, I was like, hey, I actually did a lot. I took out the trash and I took out the compost and I did this and I put my stuff away. That stuff really started to add up, and I started to realize how much I actually was doing and that I was more capable than the story I was telling. Now, I wasn't perfectly well and able-bodied, but I was really appreciative of what I could do, because it helped with this pressure of like, I don't do enough, I want to do things, that like trapped feeling. You know, it didn't go away overnight, but at least I could be like, you know what, I did X, Y, and Z, and they don't seem like much to other people, but they seem like a lot to me. For some reason, that's what's coming through with this pilot for Sagittarius. I feel like it's okay to acknowledge the little things that you do. Now, if that doesn't really apply to you, it is kind of the same. It's like, you can start to do things even if you don't feel ready, basically. If you're wondering if you should start something, if you should get going, then the answer is yes, definitely. So with the Mother of Fire, this is like embracing your inner glow. It's I love the Mother cards in this deck. It's just really balanced energy. It's like when the energy of that element starts to become very abundant, where you have enough to offer to other people, and you're in like a relationship, like a dynamic relationship with that element, and you can offer and share it with other people. So, you know, the Queen of Wands in, you know, Rider-Waite-Smith is like a very charming and charismatic, warm person, and is invested in making a good public image of themselves and making a good impression. And I see that here too. It's like you have personal ambitions, and you know, you do value connecting to others, but essentially it's like coming from within, and you have a lot to give. This is like an artistic lifestyle. It's modeling to other people. If you want to step into being a teacher or a support person, this is a good time to do that. Maybe one of those people will come into your life. Maybe this is a support person or teacher in your life. These Potion and Brews, these books always remind me of like ancestral information that is coming through. Yeah, I always see like you have the tools, and they have been kind of passed down through your DNA of like, you have what it takes to manage the inspiration and your creativity, and the warmth within yourself. So there's a rich imagination too that finds magic in everything. It's about inspiring, like having an inspired life where you see the spirit in the daily life, in the stories and the like ancient traditions. And I really feel like there's something for you in doing something that's like working with your hands, something really simple, you know, but like making gifts or cooking in a certain way. I see that is important too. Listening to music. Basically, it's like stoking the creative fire within yourself. And that fire is greater than you. It's like passed in the... I'm saying this metaphorically, I'm not trying to be pseudoscience, but like it's passed within the mitochondrial DNA. Like in the mother line, there's good things in there for you to utilize and tap into, and it will provide warmth and support for you and those around you. So the Coffin here is like a card of closure, finality, loss. I mean, it is like a card of death, you know, most of the time it's not about that, like literally. I mean, it could be more about like the death of something in your life, leaving something behind. It is forcing or like bringing a final closure on something so that, you know, later something can move into that spot. So that is important to think about. Maybe you need to grieve over something that ended. Maybe it was as small as like a dream, or like not having enough time, or like friendships that you can't nurture as much as you can or you used to, or that have gotten lost, or something with your career. Basically, it's like something that didn't work out, or something that moved on. I feel this a little bit about sadness of like getting older and like people growing apart, and yeah, like maybe reach out to people in your life who are feeling lonely, family members who are feeling isolated. And I do feel a little bit of loneliness here. I don't necessarily feel like it's you. I mean, it could be, but it could be somebody in your life. In some countries, not the United States where I live, they have like the Ministry of Loneliness to prevent loneliness, specifically in people as they age, because loneliness is like a health risk. And it's like sad, like advanced societies and societies of any type. Like, how can you call yourself advanced if people are lonely? It's like a basic human need to have that like connectivity to other people and be a sense of community, because we are social beings as much as we don't like to think we are. But that gets emphasized as we get older. For some reason, I don't know if that's just like for one person or what, but that message is coming through. But in general, it's like that doesn't apply to you. I think there is something to grieve over. Okay, so let's put these cards together. First, there was just this message that's not necessarily related to the card that came out with this one about like if you're not doing well physically as you hoped you would be, or like you're not necessarily as able-bodied as you want to be, and then feeling like there's a sense of loss or isolation there. I feel like that could be something that's going on with Sagittarius, a time constraint, obligations that you like, I have to do this thing, and it's taking a toll on you. But this Mother of Fire in the middle. So this is gonna, I feel bad saying this, because to me, I don't see the way, I don't see the logic, but it's like there is something there about the creative fire within. There's something there about having this rich imagination and feeling like there's magic in everything, feeling inspired. When I see these alien beings with the antenna, I think of insects, and I have such a wonderful association with insects. Since having kids have made me love insects more. And insects to me are a symbol to see how animated the world is around us. And sometimes it is through great loneliness that connecting to non-inanimate objects occurs. So like one time I lived in this, I was kind of isolated. I lived somewhere in like not a thriving community, kind of dead and just rural-ish, and didn't see a lot of people. And it was great for connecting to nature though, because that is when I started to kind of like out of necessity, but also out of support. That's when I started to like talk to plants and like talk to the land and connect into rocks and the seasons and weather. And there was this sense of magic that I didn't even feel when I was a kid, of like connecting to like the first snowfall and like the first leaf that falls on the ground, and tuning into the seasons. It's like, because I was so lonely, I mean, this really makes me sad and I'm kind of crying right now, but because I was so lonely, I like kind of surrendered to the open arms of like the earth or like nature. And they became my friends. And also during the pandemic, I became very good friends with insects and birds. And it was like kind of out a coping mechanism, anything that helps you feel regulated. I think nature is a part of that. And I'm so sorry I'm rambling, but that's really coming through with Sagittarius. And I think there could be more here with this mother of fire, with the potion and bruise. There's something in your lineage or something inspirational from the past that is like an animated spark that is a continuation of resilience and hope and connectivity, and the distance between you and yourself, like yourself and others, and yourself and your loving, kind, and well ancestors, because it is important to distinguish which sort of ancestors you're working with. Only those that are loving, kind, and well and have your best interests in mind. Those are the ones you're going to, if you want to work with. But I feel like there's comfort there, okay? So that was my long, rambling, healing spiel about Sagittarius. But if that's not where you are, I still think there could be some things in your life that you could take charge of, be inspired, and kind of move on after a loss. Okay, Capricorn. We have the Hacker, the Two of Earth reversed, and the Clover. So the Hacker is like having a nimble mind, unlocking problems. So you can't stay locked out for too long. So keep trying until you are granted access. It's like decoding trans-dimensional information or data. This could be like on a higher realm. Like, I don't know if you're connected to star seeds or anything, but like even your higher self, or like some sort of philosophical information, something that is a little bit out of your ordinary zone of thinking, could be kind of you could have access to where you normally don't. But regardless, it's about being focused, doing one thing at a time, being analytical. It's a good time to mentally detach. This can be really easy for some people and really hard for other people. I personally don't have very much control over this at all, and I don't even know how people do. But it could be a good time to practice healthy compartmentalization, having boundaries within your thinking. Like right now, I'm not thinking about that. I'm thinking about this. So doing one thing at a time. And you can't be detached forever, but I do feel like there's an adeptness to being like, this is what I'm doing right now. I'm not thinking about that. So you can table ideas until later. But make sure you tell them I'm not going to ignore you, body. I'm going to feed you and walk you and whatever you need to do. But right now I am focused on this. Now there could be a sense of overwhelm, because it can be hard to sit down and just crank out a lot of information at a high level, being extremely analytical, high level, high output thinking. You could have a hard time thinking. Maybe you don't have the time to think. Maybe your thoughts are kind of jumbled. There could be a feeling of being inundated. But it's a time to prioritize yourself, and your mind will clear. So yesterday I really needed time to myself, and I was home with my kids, and I was just like, I'm going to go upstairs in my room. The door is open. Anybody can go up there at any time, but I'm just going to sit by myself and do my own freaking thing that I want to do for myself for 15 minutes. And I don't care what you do down here. Just don't start a fire. I just had to kind of let it go and just be like, whatever sort of nonsense you're going to get into, I don't really care. As long as you're safe, I'm going to go upstairs. That's prioritizing yourself. And honestly, my mind did clear. It did feel so good. In fact, it felt so good, it was hard for me to get out of that space. But it was a good reminder that you can enter in to a clear mind space at certain times. You could be undergoing some sort of upgrade. This is a very starseed type of language. I sometimes like that. There could be something that you're working on It could be literal tech work as well. Maybe something you need to do on a computer. So that could be possible. If you're feeling overwhelmed too, make sure to time chunk. I see that she has these different parts of her face, and it's like, now I do this for 15 minutes. Oh, my timer went off. Now I take care of my body for 15 minutes. Oh, now I do laundry for 15 minutes. Like, use tools that can help you if you're feeling overwhelmed. But it's also important to take breaks. Do not neglect your body, Capricorn. Okay? Thank you. 2 of Earth reversed, witch hazel. This can be hard. It's like, I feel like you have been trying the best you can, but you have dropped the ball. And I don't mean that in like, you're naughty, you dropped the ball, shame on you. It's just like, there are too many balls and they're going to be dropped. You know, things are feeling unmanageable. With this card too, I always feel that there might be a seasonal shift. Something with the weather, something with time, something with the earth circling around the sun. You know, traveling through space that is a little bit too much for you to bear because you've been knocked off balance. Anything you could do to shore up yourself so you're less vulnerable to weather and climate. You know, there's a reason why pumpkin spice is the thing of the fall time. It's not just because it tastes good and it's full of sugar if you go to the regular stores and get it in a latte form. Okay, but just those spices like cinnamon, ginger, cardamom, clove, they're warming, you know, holding a warm cup of tea in your hands, resting, nesting. This is hard for Capricorn risings. This is hard for Capricorns. You want to just keep going, but I'm sorry, okay? You're part go and you're part sea creature. So there is a part of you that kind of has to go in and just surrender to the sea at different times, okay? And you want to keep climbing, but I see that you do need to be careful with the upcoming seasonal shifts, whatever that is. Take care of yourself, and it might be a regular sort of thing that you need to do, a regular practice to shore up your vulnerabilities. You need insulation of some sort. You know, I've just heard like, you know what you need to do for your health and well-being and your energy and everything. Okay, the clover though is a stroke of good luck. These are small victories. You know, it's like your lucky day. And the thing about the clover and Lenormand is it's a small area of luck. It really is one day's worth of luck. But it is a welcome surprise. It is a useful bit of support that can it can be the sign of a greater upswing. It can create an effect where like you just pass on one good thing and that leads to another good thing, and you know, you start to be open to seeing things in a new way. So it's a possibility. It can be a catalyst. For me, it's also about nurturing because the clover is very important to the soil, and it's how we get nitrogen in the soil is through the pea family plants. And then an herbally red clover is very nourishing too. So to me, it's always about cultivating your luck, your everyday luck, through keeping yourself nourished. And it's small, everyday nourishments. You're not going to do like a big fast or like a cleanse or like buy a bunch of products or like go get a gym membership or like drop a bunch of money at a spa or like a retreat. It's not like that. It's like, I'm doing this for my health every day. Like when I get cold and crabby, I crawl into bed and nest and read my favorite book, or like do something nourishing, not just mindless scrolling. With the hacker, you could be spending too much time online, especially at night in the dark, okay? It's more something that is really nurturing. What really, really nurtures you? Like a coloring book. For some reason, I'm seeing coloring book. I don't know. So putting these all together, what do we have? Nimble mind, unlocking problems, decoding transdimensional information, analytical, feeling overwhelmed, upgrade, prioritize your mind. Okay, so putting these together, you know, tell me how this works for you, but I kind of see this as prioritizing yourself to help clear your mind, letting yourself have breaks and get an upgrade so that you can have mental clarity here. Insulating yourself against some vulnerabilities you have that are contributing to your ability or your feelings of being imbalanced. Like things are rough right now. I'm not going to lie. You have a lot going on and it seems like you can't manage it. And I think with taking care of, I don't know, see, there could be something that comes your way that's helpful. Okay. But don't forget to cultivate your own luck and your own nourishment. And I think that will help clear your mind and you'll be able to navigate. You'll be able to be a better manager and balancer of everything that you have to do. So if you're like, oh, I can't do it, it's too hard, think, what can I do to nourish myself? Do that. And then I think you're going to feel better. But having the clover here means that it's a daily struggle. I hate to say struggle. It's a daily activity. It's not a one and done thing. Don't go big and go home. Do little tiny bite-sized stuff. And that's hard for Capricorn. But yeah. I think you're just going to have to be dedicated. And that's what the hacker here is about. It's like focusing one thing at a time. One thing at a time. Focus. One task at a time. One line of code at a time. One nourishing food or activity or something that makes you feel good at a time. And then you'll get back into balance. Aquarius. We have the Android, 5 of Fire, and the Rider. So the Android here is a reminder on one hand that not all is as genuine as it appears. So ask questions, seek evidence. The truth is out there, you just need to find it. If you're looking into a topic or something, you need to dig a little deeper. You might be fooled a little bit. However, another aspect of this card is that using your logic and intellect, you can see things objectively. You really can get to the bottom of things. Perhaps you are uncovering something that was deceptive to you. You could be immune to deception. There was an experience where you're like, never again. That's never going to happen to me again. I'm just thinking of a time where I was almost scammed. And this is like, now I am smarter. Now I have learned, I have put that information in my data bank. That's never going to happen to me again. So it's about becoming wiser. Now, if you might want to be learning something, that could be something that you are up to, is like focusing your mental attention onto something. You got to be media literate at this time. Maybe the political situation, there's a lot of stuff in the news or whatever, like maybe let that go. Emotions are definitely something we can't avoid. They are totally okay, but at times they can distract you from facts. They can distort reality, and people can use biases to sway you. So I think that if you embrace how you feel and get really clear about how you feel, then you can kind of help yourself be immune to being emotionally manipulated. Yeah, I just keep hearing never again. I'm not going to be fooled again. The 5 of Fire, this is like, make a confrontation on what is weighing on you. There's no more beating around the bush. You have to clear out your sources of strife and stress, especially with others. This is time to air your grievances. In the 5 of Wands is like a card of fighting. So maybe you're fighting for a cause, but whatever it is, it's like you're at the point where something has to change. Tensions are high, so be careful not to spiral out of control. But basically, it's like you are not going to sit and stand for this anymore. Like, you're not helpless, you're not complacent, you don't want things to keep going the way that they are. This is like a sacred rage card. You're really venting things out from yourself of like, I'm sick of having this in here. And I feel like a lot of movement, especially of your arms and legs. I've been doing sweating with the oldies. It's so good for my arms and legs. It's crazy. Like, I feel like it helps lubricate my joints. And I feel like that is somehow important with this. Like karate chop. I just heard karate chop. I don't know what, but moving that energy out of your body can be really helpful. And then the Rider is like the first card in Lenormand. It's bringing something new. It's like news, a message, a visitor, something like that. So something could be coming your way. I would be on the lookout for that. Something maybe already came. Isn't this interesting how like they're this way and she's this way and these are like up and over and then there's a star. I actually think that you are going to be on the lookout in the future. I mean, I know this card is natural here because I put it there, but I also feel like the message, the news, or the visitor will be coming. You know, if you're not really anticipating hearing something or getting something or seeing somebody, it could be that you're off on a new journey. This is basically like you're off to the races. And a good question to ask yourself with the Rider is like, just wondering what messages are in store for me. Like, what is going to happen? There's a sense of anticipation and wonder. And I see that now that you are more privy to like what is real around you and you're mentally adept at like, you're not going to be duped again. I think that maybe you have some anger about a time where you were taken advantage of, or times where people are taken advantage of, or some sort of situation that is not right. Okay, so here we have Pisces. We have the Outlaw, the Sun reversed, and the Fish. Really good card for Pisces there, the Fish. Okay, so the Outlaw is about taking responsibility and ownership for yourself. So I hate to be the bearer of this information, but I have no judgment, and nor should you. There has been something that you really messed up with, and now you're coming clean. It's like admitting your mistakes, admitting you were wrong. You're surrendering. You're saying, yep, I did it. I shouldn't have. Basically, it's like being held accountable for something. But you are surrendering and accepting that. It's like if you can just accept the fact that you kind of messed up, things are going to be a lot easier for you. It's kind of like surrender to be free. Okay. Now, if you haven't really messed up and there's nothing really like that happening, like no misstep that you can think of, it could be something from your past, but it's also just about taking responsibility and ownership. Maybe it's not a public apology you have to make. Maybe it's an apology you have to make to yourself. Maybe it was times where you did something that you regret. So I would like look through those. It's also things that you're doing right now that aren't necessarily in service of your purpose or don't really make you feel good in the end. So you might be tempted to like do some of your old habits, but this is saying like you might want to do something that you know you shouldn't, but hold yourself accountable and like urge surf, just being like, yeah, I want to do that. I'm not going to, or I want to do it. This is what it feels like to feel like I want to do that thing that I know isn't good for me. Yeah, it's like, what can you change for the better? You know, nobody's perfect, and that's totally fine. This could be a conversation that you're having with somebody where you and them are both kind of coming clean. Maybe there's a confession. Maybe you just need to do that for yourself, you know. But there's something you need to get off your chest and take responsibility for. Okay, the Sun reversed. You know, we can't be young all the time. We can't always be putting out energy. The sun can't always be shining. And that is what the Sun reversed is like, the energy of being sunburned, of being overexposed, okay? And then on the other hand, it's about like being in the cold and, I mean, literally entering times of not so much sun here in the northern hemisphere. It can be a little bit of a letdown. There's maybe like a hangover type feeling or like a healing crisis where you feel crappy, but like it's therapeutic. And I hate to say that, but you know, it's like if you're fighting an illness or recovering from something, or you had an accident, I just heard, like, that's not always an easy recovery. This is the recovery process. This is the convalescing. It's not even convalescing. It's the sick in bed sort of things. It's a sucky feeling, but your body and yourself and whatever, maybe it's on an emotional level, is healing, and you are on the path. It just doesn't feel wonderful, okay? But trust the process. There's a radiance within still, but it's not ready, you know? Like, the radiance is kind of going deeper and deeper. Things are a little hidden. I guess I'm just getting like the metaphor of the sun going away, coming up with the equinox here in the northern hemisphere, and then something about that cycle might be challenging for some of you Pisces. I mean, is it not challenging for everybody? I don't really know. But it's facing the reality that, like, this is fall. This is coming up on winter. It will be spring. Summer is behind us. There were many good things about it that we took for granted. Could be like a summertime of your life is over, okay? And we're left feeling a little disillusioned, a little overexposed. Another thing too with the sun reversed, it's like some things you thought were going to be great did not turn out to be so great. Things that you thought you were going to shine, and it turns out it didn't really land the way that it should have or could have, or you thought. Things that you thought maybe were going to be good to come out into the open maybe should have never seen the light of day. There's just kind of some confusion about, like, why are we even talking about this? Like, why is this an issue? That confusion is a normal process. No, it's not the best, but I feel like that's kind of what this sun reverse is saying. Yeah, I do feel kind of a disappointment here. Disappointment with what? Something about how the summer went. Okay, but the fish, let's go on a completely different level, is money and business success. It's like a return on your investment. Oh, okay. So this return on investment is reminding me of the cycle of the seasons and how things kind of change and ebb and flow. So just remember, like, we're in a cycle. The sun is, reversed here. Those cycles don't feel connected to you, but you can do it, okay? I don't know why, I just felt compelled to say that. There's more than enough to go around. There is a feeling of generosity with the fish card. There's abundance. Maybe somebody will be sharing something with you, but in any case, it's a well-earned reward. So I kind of feel this is like, yeah, you maybe feel a little sad or something. There's like a disillusionment, a letdown here. But on, the brighter side, which can be a really like demeaning statement, but that's what this card is saying. Like, in other news, something may be coming to you. A good fruit of your labor is coming up. There's an abundance. There's something that you've worked on. You're going to be rewarded, or maybe something will pay off. I don't know if it's happening now, or if you work on it now, it will be paid off. I'm hearing both. So it could be that way for everybody or anybody. Like, some of you may be getting a reward, a good return on investment. Some of you are working on something now that in the future will come back to you. So again, with the outlaw, I feel like these two cards are connected. Something didn't go as planned this past summer, perhaps. There might be something in there that you need to accept your own part of your own responsibility. And I hate saying something so harsh, but that is what the sun is. But literally on the other hand, there's good returning to you. Okay, so that's my readings for Libra season. I'd love to know how it is working out. Let me know in the comments. Okay, take care. Bye.